Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on October 9th, 2021 at approximately 3:02 p.m. PST. When you look over my shoulder here, you can see the top three shelves have now been sorted out. The shelf that's got the books on it, that's the way it stays now, at least as near as I can figure, as it's got my entire J.R.R. Tolkien collection, at least as far as the books go, parked right there. Next to it, on the end of the shelf, near the open view of the wooden sign where it says "I am worth it," the back end of that shelf over there is the collection that says that's the collection that is actually on Casey's book on Casey's on Casey's bookshelf in the Yldrbac Chronicles. Now, I'm pretty certain I'm going to be turning that around, but I'm not 100%. Okay, it kind of sort of depends on how things work out, but I'm pretty certain that's the way it works. I know that's the way it's sitting. We just see here. And that'll leave those there, which means, where's the purple one? Right there? Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much the way that's going to sit. Anyway, that being said, as I said, when you get an idea in your head, it's absolutely imperative to get the energy working properly, to really organize it and make it so that the office works right. Now, as you can see, the shelves are getting cleared off as we go along. Okay, when I'm done this recording, I've got one more recording that I'm intending on doing, and I've been saying I'm going to do it. As I said, I am pretty much one of the best procrastinators available. You know, when I was younger, I had a wonderful tendency. There's a saying that goes, "Never do today what you can put off till tomorrow." Well, I used to have it a little faster. Okay, I didn't even want to wait that long. So I go, "Never do what you can put off." Okay, I've gotten better at it. Got really good at it, really. But at this point, like I said, these are tools that I personally utilize. Okay, and as long as you stay focused on them, you can get ahead. You can get things accomplished. And the two goals that I've got that I'm working on now, presumably you have a goal in mind, something you're not content with in your life. And that's where that list comes from. And where did I put mine? Right there. That's where the list comes in. By marking down the big things, the goals that you've got, and getting things moved out of the way that are not conducive to whatever your primary goal is. Okay, get them tied off, get the energy moving in the right direction. Now, the two big goals that I've got, and it's wonderful to see. One of the goals that I have had for a very long time, okay, is to get the Yldrbac Chronicles written out. Now, that is these novels. Okay, and I've shown these to you multiple times. This was a project that started way back when I was 15 years old. So we really are talking 43 years ago. Okay, they're starting to come out. Right now, I don't know what page I'm working on right now, and I'm not going to look it up for just a moment, but that goal is coming to fruition. The other one that people in Spaced Out Radio really encouraged me to get underway with was getting this message out to you. Okay, and this message is literally, and this is essentially the whole reason I came back this lifetime, okay, was to literally remind people that working together, all entities working together, we can actually make this a better world for most people. Now, this has been tried many times. Okay, and from my past life memories, and I know that sounds completely whack to some of you. Okay, but my memories date back a lot further than a lot of people's. And here's the thing. This lifetime, I used to think that, just like you probably do, that it was the really wealthy people, it was the millionaires, it was the media that was really messing things up, and the politicians. Until the internet hit. And when the internet hit, okay, that was when I found out that in spite of the fact that I'm a firm believer that 90 to 95% of the population are decent people, honestly trying to make this a better world. But I found it fascinating that with that in mind, up until about a month ago, the majority of what I saw being posted, tweeted, retweeted, reposted, spread about, talked about was who ripped off who hurt who shot who managed to embarrass who. But I am really happy to say that in the last month or so, I've seen a decided change in what's being posted, and I must thank you all for that one. Okay, because now what I'm finding is more and more people are posting who helped who. They keep showing people helping animals, even people going out of the way to help wildlife, non-domestic animals. Okay, there's been postings of animals helping animals. Okay, and this is absolutely fantastic. Okay, yes, we are still seeing the negative things that are happening, but the reality is in life negative things happen. But I'm getting approached by more and more people that are turning away from their churches because the churches or their spiritual paths because they're realizing that the guidelines that they've been following and the people that they've been following have been leading them down a very fear-based, very, shall we say, challenged path. And I'm getting more and more people coming to me going, why am I finding this out? Why are these spiritual guides that are claiming to be aiming at the positive side, why are they chasing people away from them? Now I only promote three laws, all of them karmic, and compare them to your beliefs and to your guidelines. The only three I promote are be true to yourself first, do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. Energy out, energy in. Now, if you take a look at your guidelines, whatever guidelines you have, and compare them to those three, it's my firm belief that you will find that they all fit inside those three. Now, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel. Okay, and remember when you subscribe to hit that alert button to let you know when the next video coming out is. Now, here's the thing. The big goal that I've got with these videos is to get this message out to every entity in existence. Now, every entity clearly does not have a video. So I'm relying on you, okay, and asking your assistance in doing this. And that is to spread this word, that everybody, that working together, we can make this a better world. Okay, for just about everybody. Now, there will be those that are not happy any way you want to look at it. But I am really happy to see that the shift in what I'm being approached with, I'm getting asked some really bizarre questions that I keep having to point out to people. Okay, I shouldn't call them bizarre questions, because if you've got a question, the odds are somebody else does. And this is why I say if you've got questions or if you've got comments, absolutely put them in below this video. Okay. If you've got a question that you would like the public not to see or that you don't desire your name attached to, there's a list of contact points below this video that will tell you, that will actually get to me, that I will do my best to answer. Okay, because the reality is many of the questions you have, other people have. Okay, for instance, since I was 10, I've been dealing with other people's questions regarding personal issues, business issues, alien abductions, and alien technology issues. Okay, amongst many other things, such as what is a soulmate, how do past lives affect people. I deal with all of it. But understand, my memories go back way further than the majority of people's, from what I've gathered. Okay, do I remember past lives? Absolutely. Okay, and the neat part about it is, much as I can remember them, I have a lot of trouble remembering this lifetime. Well, I used to. Okay, the first 23 years of my life was a little bit scrambled. And this is why when people tell me, what they've gone through, I can usually look at them and go, yeah, I can relate to that. But that's because my memories date back so much further than what my age does. And I'll tell you, there are days when I feel like I'm older than ever than Methuselah. But soul-wise, that's quite a possibility. Okay, chronologically, I'm only 58 years old. And the reality behind life is this. We're all in exactly the same place. Okay, the same time. We are all right here, right now. And this is the only time in existence that you can get anything accomplished. Okay. And frankly, you're the only entity in existence that can be successful for you. That's it. Nobody else can be. You can get lots of encouragement from people around you. And to this end, I do encourage you to find a group of people that you can relate to. Whether it happens to be a mainstream religion, what people are calling a pagan religion, whether it is a support group like NA or AA, or a group to help you deal with PTSD, anything that helps you deal with today's reality, anything at all. Okay, find a group of people that you can relate to, and just make sure when you're finding a group of people that they are promoting things like getting along with others. If they're promoting fear, okay, if they are promoting, complications and separations, then you might want to ask yourself, is this the way you desire to be treated? Now, I'm going to mention something here just to put things in perspective. And there are topics I've done my best to avoid. Okay, but came to the conclusion, as you can tell, a couple of days ago, probably about a week ago now. I can bypass the topics. Okay, people in Western society complain a lot about the KKK. Now, I'm not going to go into their doctrine or anything else, but I will point this out. Okay, they complain about the KKK, and they call it racist, etc., etc. Okay, but then they turn around and do exactly the same thing on a different basis. Now, because the majority of people in Western society, I think the majority, that may be shifting now, but the majority of people I've dealt with in society are Caucasian. Something to consider. From what I understand, over in South Africa, the Caucasians go through the same thing that different colored peoples go through here. Okay, because I believe, and I could be mistaken, do your own research. I believe there is a group in South Africa called the Mau Mau's, okay, which are essentially along the same concept in the way of prejudice and prejudicial or racial determination along the same lines as the KKK. Now, that being said, doesn't matter what group you look that you associate with. Okay, absolutely support the people around you, but keep in mind, energy out, energy in. If you're treating people differently because of their skin color or because of their doctrine, and I don't mean agree with their doctrines or agree with what their lifestyle is. Okay. Now, I mean, for instance, okay, and this is taking it to a whole lighter term. Okay, down in the southern states, I was down there a few years ago, and I did try something that was, well, in all fairness, I was actually in the eastern states, but somebody from down in the southern states had met up with me, and I tried something that apparently in the southern states is really, really good, and a lot of people down there really like it. Okay, I tried something called grits. Now, whether they were cooked right or whether they were cooked wrong, I don't know. The only thing I know for certain is it was a dish that, I tried it. I'd never tried it before, but I will tell you, I won't try it again. Whether it was made right or wrong, I don't know. But I do know my first experience with it, the odds of my trying it again are not good. It could change, but I'm not holding my breath. But for those people that like it, the fact that I don't does not make them less of a person. It's just a different flavor that I don't like. Now, and this is why I say the tools I offer people, the philosophies I live by, are the exact that I offer you are the exact same ones that I personally use, that I personally live by. Okay. You know, and I mean, for me, it really boils down to this. Who am I to judge? Okay. Well, I'll tell you who I am to judge. I'm me. And the fact that I am alive, the fact that I am breathing, puts me in the same boat you're in. Everything you see in life, you are going to make a judgment on. You are going to compare it to other things. If it's a relationship, you will compare your current one to past ones. That is just a part of nature. That is part of how you learn. Okay. But the trick is, now, when you look at it, like I said, I've been reading the Bible. That's going to take me a couple of years in all likelihood because I don't read too terribly fast and I've got a lot of things I'm working on all at the same time. But since I've got a copy of the Quran, that is probably the next religious tome I'm going to go through to find out so that I have my own education on what is being taught, of what is being talked about. You know, I don't watch the news, I don't listen to the news, and I certainly don't read the newspaper. Okay, the reason being, I find that a lot of the time, the news that is reported is not the same as what has happened. Same as when you look into the history books, because I remember chunks of history. Okay, because of my past life memories, I can look at what's written and I can go, yeah, this fits, but there's major discrepancies. Okay, not the least of which is what the horror was during the Black Plague. Okay, I mean, people talk about it bad now with COVID going through. But I'll tell you, having lived through the Black Plague, and some of us did live through it. But yes, there were lots of people dying. But the problem was, at that point, they were dying on the streets. We had people dropping dead on the streets, and we couldn't clear them off fast enough to stop other people from getting infected. So if you think it's bad now, that was a whole lot worse. Okay, when you go through, when you go through things like you've seen potentially the records on the fall of Pompeii when Mount Vesuvius went off and buried it under lava. Remembering that eruption, I'll tell you, makes all the pictures in the world mild, absolutely mild by comparison. The pictures and the remnants that you see there are nothing compared to the horror that was felt when it happened. Okay, and something to consider here. Now, if we look at the North American Indians, okay, and I don't know if you want to call them and what title you want to put them. Okay, it doesn't matter to me. Call them what you will, but be polite about it. A century ago, they had a philosophy themselves. Actually, in all fairness, go back 2 centuries. They had two philosophies. One was they were not they were not always at peace with each other, but they did seem to have one philosophy in common amongst all their nations, and that was that nobody owned the land; they were caretakers for it. And at the same time, they also seemed to have, on the whole, the same philosophy that before they made any changes to the landscape, they would consider and they would take into consideration what that would look like 7 generations down the road. Now, for me, I look at a generation as 20 years because that's usually about when kids are born. Well, if you take 7 generations at 20 years a pop, you're looking at 140 years down the road. Okay, between 140 and 210. Okay, and what cutting down a tree was going to look like that far down the road. Okay, nowadays, it doesn't matter what somebody's skin color is or what somebody's background is. Very few people actually look down the road that far. They look at it from the immediate issue of what are we getting in the here and now. And this is where the video games have come in really complicated. Video games give instant gratification. Okay. they are not, they don't take a long time to accomplish much of anything. And from what I've seen, they really don't accomplish much of anything. But that's my personal opinion on video games. Part of that is probably because of the fact that I really can't play them. I cannot track them properly yet. I don't have the eye-hand coordination to deal with the fast-paced ones. Okay, so part of that, admittedly, may be my own inequity in my own inability to play them. But the reality is that I have noticed a massive decline in the number of people, in the amount of patience, in the amount of effort that people are willing to put into things. Okay, now currently I'm reading 2 books. Okay, one I'll get finished sometime this week. Okay, and I've already got a couple of books laid out. Now, a couple of weeks back, I mentioned that I was reading 3 books, and I desired to get, before Undead, I desired to have read 100 books. Well, I'm at 63 at this point. I'm just about done my 64th. Okay, and this is just a goal I set for myself. It gives me something to focus on. Okay, but I'm the only one that can do it. Okay, so it's just a question of get it straight in your own head what you're aiming for. When I get finished this video, I've got some writing to do because I'm working on, what is it now? Chapter 4. I'm expanding in Return to Paradise, which is the final book in the trilogy. Okay, it's also the final book in the whole saga, but it's not the final one printed. Long story, I can go all over the place with that one. But I'm probably do a little bit of reading there, and then I've got another video I've got to do right away. Okay, that I've been putting off, so it'll be going up later today as well. At least that's the intention at this point. Okay, and again, it boils down to getting the things down on paper that you're aiming for. But you have to remain true to you. Remain focused on what you're aiming for. Coffee cups up front, waiting for the coffee to brew. Fortunately, coffee is not the only thing I drink. It's just the most common thing. Now, I do encourage you to reach out to the people around you. If you look up on the internet, there is a song that I do like listening to. Okay, and it was written in 1973, I think, by the Carpenters. But I do know that the name of the song is Up with People. You should give it a listen. It may make a difference to you. And it doesn't quantify who the people are. Okay, I'm a firm believer that no matter what color you are, what your political alignment, what your income, you're all the same type of people. You all have your benefit, your positive sides. You've all got your negatives. Okay, myself, I've never been one to be overly materialistic. You wouldn't know it from the amount of junk I got around here, but that's why I'm getting rid of a lot of it. Okay, and it really boils down to deciding what you desire in your life. For me, it's very simple. Okay. Yeah, I've got most of my stuff moved around over there that I need. That's an active painting table. And that's where I'll spend a lot of my time this afternoon. Okay, once I'm done this video, then I'll move over there and do a bunch of painting because I've got things worked out already. Oh, I gotta do that too. Anyway, if you've got questions, if you've got a topic, okay, I've got to get back to putting together the subset of videos I do, which is called Races of the Worlds. And it is literally based on this little book here. Some of you already have this book, okay, and it, along with the other books that I've written, can be acquired. Oh, that's not going to work well. There we go. Can be acquired by contacting me at one of the contact points below. The list of books that I have in publication right now, most of which are only available through me. Okay, you can reach out and get them through the contact points below, but it tells you what they are. Okay, I'm in the middle of getting pictures done regarding the races of the world. And if I am correct, I'm pretty certain I'm just about ready to start doing the internal work for for the Yldrbacian Chronicles, and getting my artist in England to start putting those together, so they'll be able to be added to the books for future printings as well. But that'll be a while down the road before that's done. Now, the nice part about everything that I'm looking at, the reason, and I call it a nice part, for me it means a great deal. Okay, I'm still working on, like, my health is not perfect by any functional stretch, which is why I keep putting these on and taking them off. That and the fact I keep forgetting what the heck I'm doing. Gives you an idea how well my mind works. In any event, my health I'm still working on. Okay, an individual I know showed me a photo of themselves recently that shows that their health is like they look phenomenal compared to what they were looking like. Okay, they had hair not this long, but they had longer hair and they completely cleaned themselves up. First time I've seen it in forever, and I will tell you, it looked absolutely phenomenal. I do encourage you, if you haven't had a personal makeover recently, if you can afford it, and bear in mind, affording it can be as simple as this. Go down to a secondhand store and buy something for you or pick something up that is new to you. Okay. Change your look a little. Bring it up to date. And when I talk about up to date, I mean up to date to what you feel like. This does not mean you have to dress like me. Same as I'm not going to dress like other people. You know, as I've told my other half, I'm not really that fashion conscious. So that being said, if she finds something she thinks it would look good on me, providing it's not a dress, it's not a mini skirt, and it's not high heels, we should be good. Okay. Within reason. But I'm not overly. I told somebody one day, a guy was complaining about what I was wearing. And it was just something along these lines and a decent pair of jeans. And the guy made a derogatory comment to me, and I looked at him and I says, it's not like I'm a fashion statement. Well, the young lass behind me pipes up and she goes, "You are so. Not a good one, but you are a statement." And I looked at her and I went, that was quick. And I didn't take offense to it at all. But she did have a point. Whoever you are, whatever you dress like, understand something absolutely imperative. And I ran into this with a religion. Quite frankly, I ran into it with the religion, the Jehovah's Witnesses. Now, understanding there are many Jehovah's Witnesses that are fantastic people. Okay, there really are. But this one in particular, he come up to me one day and he looks at me and he goes, I'd have invited you to my church if you'd have been dressed better. So my immediate reaction was simple. I looked at him and I says, when God tells me the way I'm dressing is inappropriate or is unacceptable, I may take consideration of it. I said, the day I start paying attention to what some human turns around and tells me is unacceptable attire, given that I'm following dress code as in I'm wearing something, I said, the day that I pay attention to that, I'll probably check myself into a local psychiatric ward and find out what went completely offline. Because as long as what you're wearing is, socially acceptable, okay, and I'm talking socially acceptable by law, not necessarily by the people you're around. Okay, many people have lots of tattoos. I personally love the artwork that's done on many of these tattoos. Problem is, for me, I would never get one done. Of course, I don't like needles that much, and I'm certainly not interested in getting a tattoo, but I will happily admire it. Okay, many people will look at tattoos and go, that's a tattoo that makes him a thug or a bad person. It really doesn't. Some of the nicest people I've met have beautiful artwork. Okay, so regardless of what tattoos or piercings you have, regardless of what you're wearing, as long as you're treating people decently, that is the critical factor that makes this world a better world. Okay, and understand, you cannot make yourself feel better by making other people feel worse. Okay, it just doesn't work well. Now, with that in mind, I'm going to let you go. I will be back again tomorrow at some point. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.